everybody. It's AstroDetectives. This is the show where we try to match our guests to their correct birth chart. As always, we have two charts to choose from, and today our guest is either a Cancer or a Capricorn. I'm Scott, a skeptic of astrology, and I'm joined by my co-host and professional astrologer and personal friend, Sarah Hartshorn. Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about Capricorns and Cancers and maybe how we might be able to distinguish which one we're talking to today?
Of course, Scott, I can tell you.
Whew, good, because I can only talk so much astrology.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because Cancer and Capricorn are on what we would say the same polarity or the same axis. They are kind of mirror opposites of each other. And so they're often drawn to each other. But Cancer represents kind of like the archetype of like the sensitive nurturer, it relates to the home and family and protection, safety, security, things like that. And then on the opposite end of the axis, we have Capricorn, which is an earth sign, and it's more about achievement, career, authority, things like that. So it's kind of the traditional kind of mother-father archetypes, if that helps
if
people.
If you're going by gender stereotypes,
yes, I'm
which
just
we
trying
love
to give,
on this show.
It doesn't have to be male-female, but just to give people something to kind of visualize.
So like the work versus the home, if
Yes.
we're looking at the sun sign. Sometimes when we do episodes, I try to relate to one of the two. For this show, do you want to be more of the Cancer or the Capricorn?
Wait, what?
I'm going to be all business and saying that we got to make this show successful no matter what at all costs. Or you could be the Cancer and be like, no, we need to like feel it out and be concerned with home and sensitive to emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like Cancer is very attuned to feelings and emotions, and it's a water sign. All the water signs are very attuned to that, whereas our Earth sign is much more focused on the material plane.
All right. Well, I'm going to be the Capricorn for this episode.
All right.
Business. Moving on. Let's say those are the sun signs. Let's say astrologers want to go a little bit deeper because obviously there's a lot more going on in charts these days. Where can they get the full birth data so that they can go and decide using whatever they want to use to determine which of these charts belongs to our guest?
Are you asking me where they can find the charts?
Yeah. Where do they find the charts? And also, if they want more, how can they sign up on our Patreon? Talk about a Capricorn leading question. What's the best way for them to give us money?
Okay. All right. So if you want to pull these charts and look at them yourself, we have them available for free on our website, AstroDetectivesPod.com. Just go to the charts section and we have them there in whole sign or Placidus, whatever your preference. If you want to go deeper, if you want to actually get the birth data and kind of plug it into your system, whatever you want to do, then you sign up for our Patreon and we will email the charts to you and you can have them a little bit early too and plug and play.
And have the full birth data. You'll get the actual times and the dates.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very handy if you are someone who wants to look at like solar returns or transits or Vedic astrology, a lot more you can do with that. But yeah.
And we got some interesting ones today because there's a little overlap in the rising sign.
Oh, yes. We have to talk to IT about that.
So what's jumping off the chart that you're looking at that's a little deeper than the sun sign for this one?
Yeah, it's not too bad, though. Okay, so our Cancer sun is actually a triple Cancer. So I'm hoping that is really going to set them apart and stand out if that's their chart. So that means we've got a sun, moon, and rising. That's like a new moon happening on the horizon, if you want to picture that, the sun, the moon, coming up over the horizon at this person's time of birth. And so that's a lot of Cancer energy, and they're ruled by the moon. So would be a very moon type person. So the moon signature, moon rules Cancer. So, we're just really doubling down on this Cancer energy. So I feel like this person would be very creative, very nostalgic, very sensitive, wear their feelings on their sleeves. Very much, there's a lot going on that is in their life that is really like their self-actualization. They are really like the main character in the story. Like so much about their life is about themselves and how they show up.
That sounds like a Leo to me.
Well, Leo rules the sun, and we're putting the sun in the first house, so that solar energy is really coming forward, but it's going to be filtered in a Cancerian way. So it's a lot of, yeah. So fortunately, the other chart's not a Leo. I'd be a little like, yeah. So anyway, so that's what we got going on in that chart. And then in our Capricorn chart, we also have an early Cancer ascendant there. And so Cancer rising, Capricorn sun, which puts, since they have polarity, that puts their sun in the 7th house of partnerships in the other. And this Cancer rising is ruled by the moon in Scorpio. So that's a very different than both the moon in Scorpio and moon in Cancer are the, water moons. Moon does like to be in water, but it really does struggle a lot more in moon in Scorpio. This is someone who's going to have very intense feelings, but they're going to be very uncomfortable with showing their feelings. They feel like they kind of have to hide them.
I feel like that's a crab normally though, right? They're wearing their shell, their protective shell, like any Cancers don't show their emotions. Or they do?
No, Cancer is very, especially when you have that moon energy in the first house, you're going to be wearing your emotions on your sleeve, usually. Yeah.
A crab with no shell.
Yeah. No, Cancer is a sign that is it's very passionate, but they are more indirect. They're more like, especially if you provoke them, they're going to be very reactive, kind of like, you've seen that meme with the crab with the knife, right?
Hopefully it doesn't come to that on this episode. I'm going to try not to provoke our guest.
Yeah. But yeah, so to me, like the big distinction there is maybe how this person handles their emotions. It's either probably going to be more obvious and at the surface, or it's going to be something that they feel like they need to hide or suppress in some type of way.
All right. Well, anything else we want to add before we get our guest in the room and let our audience start figuring it out for themselves?
Nope.
All right, everybody, get those charts, do your homework, and we'll be right back with our guest to see if they are the Cancer or the Capricorn right after this. Hey listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology, we're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining AstroDetectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, AstroDetectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together, like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late-night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast-track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm, fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/astrodetectives and join the investigation today. Welcome back, everybody. We are now joined with our guest this week, Carter. Welcome to Astro Detectives.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're very glad you're here. We're ready to dive into your life and determine which of these two birth charts we're looking at belongs to you. First, we'd like to start off with where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. Now, we do know your birthplace is not Nashville, Tennessee.
No.
Can you tell us a little bit about what brought you from Russia to Nashville?
Yeah. So I was adopted at like 5 days old, or I was given up for adoption at 5 days old. Yeah, my biological family, she had a son. I think that it was just kind of, she didn't have the finances to take care of both of us. And so she dropped me off in a hospital where I was taken care of for 5 months. And then my mom, she was a single, like very religious woman from the Bible Belt, and she didn't want to have a baby herself out of marriage. So she went on this adoption journey and brought me back here.
Wow, that's amazing.
You must think about how different your life could be if
Yeah.
that's such a contrast. Wow.
Yeah, and there's a lot of questions that like linger into adulthood more than it was when I was younger, just about like, oh, where am I from and who's my family and where do I belong, you know? Yeah.
Right. I was going to ask if you had any information on your birth parents at all and what that life situation was like, other than them not being able, well, you mentioned the previous sibling.
I think that's kind of the assumption. I just have their names and their birthdays and where they were from and what my mom did for work. But other than that, I don't know anything about them.
Can you tell us what your mom did do for work?
She was a science museum worker is what my certificates say, or the registrations, that's what one of them says.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And your adoptive mom, or what is, I would just say your mom at this point.
My mom, yeah.
What does she do? Or what was kind of her career?
She was a teacher. She taught third grade. She was really awesome. Her students loved her. She passed when I was 7. And so she had married my dad when I was about 2 years old. And then she was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 3. And that spread to her lungs and her spine, and then ultimately her brain. And she passed right before my 8th birthday. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. And
yeah, no, it shaped my whole life. And I have so much, gratefulness for the fact that she brought me into the life that I have now.
Mm-hmm. And met your father too, who I assume is still in your life?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about him and that relationship?
Yeah. It's weird. I don't remember him before my mom passed, and then he kind of became mom and dad for me. And we had a hard time. We butted heads a lot growing up. I was a really rebellious teenager and preteen, and ended up graduating high school early in order to get away from like parental control, and just like wanted out of the house and wanted to go be on my own and be an adult. And so me and him, we've become closer in adulthood again. So that, the relationship's mended there, but I don't see my parents a whole lot. I don't talk to them a whole lot. We don't have issues there.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of a kid were you maybe even before the rebellious phase? What are some of your earliest memories of, what were you interested in, or, what were you kind of drawn to?
It kind of funny. I like a lot of weird stuff. Like I loved going outside and playing with like bugs and frogs and worms, and like just playing in the dirt. And I was on a swim team, and I did horseback riding, and I kind of just like dug my feet into a little bit of everything. I loved video games. I loved being on the computer. I was always just like, I wanted to be around a lot of people, and I was around a lot of adults because I was an only child until my dad remarried. And then I got a stepbrother, but I'm not an only child. I have siblings that are much older. They were in their 20s and 30s by the time I was around, but I grew up feeling like an only child. So I was around a lot of adults. And, so I spent a lot of time just kind of imagining things, like playing pretend and like, I don't know, playing outside.
Mm-hmm. And was it sort of secluded? Like, I'm imagining, if you had a lot of time to yourself without many other kids, you might have lived further away from some of your classmates, or did you get to be social with them as well?
We lived in a cul-de-sac that my parents picked out specifically because every house in the cul-de-sac had another child living in it, at least one, if not more. But I had very strict like bedtimes. Like I had to be inside by like 7 or 8 o'clock, and they would play into the night. And so I could go out in the morning and play, but no, I couldn't stay out too late with them. Yeah, I played with kids too. I think at school I felt a little bit of an oddball, an odd kid out, but I had friends. Yeah.
Were you rebelling against some of those rules? Like later as you became more rebellious, was it some of that structure that made you want to say, I'm out of here, I'm going to do my own thing?
Yeah. Yeah. The reins were too tight and I was just like bucking back at it. Yeah. Yeah. And I tended to gravitate a lot to just like one friend or a small group of friends. And so I would get in trouble throughout middle school and high school with my one friend or like my boyfriend or whoever it was like that I really gravitated towards, that I just wanted to spend like all of my time with. Yeah.
And so when you had this freedom and you suddenly the world was open, what direction did you go there? Kind of, career wise, or what, after high school, you said you graduated early. What were you drawn to there?
I didn't know. I went into college with really just like no direction of what I wanted to do. So I was undeclared for a little bit. And then I was like, well, I have to declare. So I chose like public relations and global studies. And so I was like, okay, I want to be a journalist that goes overseas and like, into the Middle East and just does like news reporting and things like that. And, but like, I was like, it still like doesn't seem right. And I was also in the beginning in college, I was drinking alcohol heavily. I missed most of my classes. I dropped a lot of my classes. I kind of was just doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And I ended up getting a DUI and like had to put down alcohol. And I did for the majority of the next couple of years. I was sober for quite a while, and I didn't know what I was going to do. So my only other friend who was sober entirely, who had never drank before in his life, I was spending a lot of time with him, and we ended up starting to date, and we started a little farm together, and that was our business we ended up getting married, and we had this farm business for many years until our divorce. And then I left it myself a couple of years ago.
That makes me think of, as a kid getting into the dirt and nature. Was there a connection there, or can you tell me what drew you to the farming?
Yeah, it's not that it drew me. It was really like his brain baby, and then I was just kind of like a lot of the execution behind it. I didn't know really anything about growing plants and the whole process of that and what it took. But I did love at our house. We had, I could go out barefoot in the backyard and just be in the soil and like touch grass and tend to plants. And once I learned it, it's a really beautiful like cycle to watch that is like so connected to like life and death and all of it. Yeah, no, I loved it. It was really fulfilling in a lot of ways. And it was really stressful in a lot of ways.
What's something that most people don't know about farming or just cultivating your own food? Because at some point, I get the feeling a lot of us might need to know some of these things in the future. Yeah, we're open to any information you have.
It's extremely time consuming, and it also takes a lot of precision, and you can mess it up really easy. I see a lot of people go into it their first year, talk about, well, I lost all these things and I know what to do better next year. And it's a great practice to have and to keep just knowing like, okay, these are what kinds of nutrients that tomatoes need versus what a cantaloupe might need. And you don't get it right the first time all the way. You kind of gotta learn as you go. So it's definitely a good practice to have.
Yeah, in the old times, that was life or death. If you have a bad crop, you don't eat, then what do you do? But luckily, I guess it's a little more forgiving now.
Yeah. And our farm was half of it was an indoor farm, and we grew like garnishes that you would get like at a restaurant, like edible flowers on your dessert or like the little greenery sprinkled on top. And so we were able to grow year round, and our turnover rate was much faster than like waiting for an entire watermelon plant or a pumpkin that can take, 6, 8 months from seed to finish. So we had a little bit different of a model, but still all in the same ways. It can be just as frustrating and just as time consuming.
Was there like, I'm trying to think of like the motivation behind creating food for yourself, your family, versus it's a business and you're selling it? Was there one of those things that struck you a little bit more closer to home that made you feel like, oh, this is why I'm doing it, or this is kind of personally fulfilling?
Yeah. So I think it was honestly, I guess if you want a little bit of both, but like my passion behind it was I loved that the man that I loved was succeeding, and like watching and like I felt like I was doing right as a wife because he felt successful, and I was helping contribute to that. I even now that was a couple of years ago when we separated, and just happenstance, I work as a personal assistant now, and like it all kind of lines up where I'm almost like the backbone, not the backbone of someone else's success. My boss would do just fine without me, but I like being a helper, and I definitely felt like a helper in that job. But then at the same time, it was incredible having so much fresh produce, like some of the most nutrient dense produce, like available all the time. I don't have that now, and I definitely notice a difference without it. Yeah.
It probably changed your shopping habits, right?
Yeah,
once you've
definitely.
seen it. So yeah, assisting people, helping them like achieve greatness. I think of a teacher as doing that in some ways too. You have a classroom of people, and your job is to unlock their potential and help them. Have you ever thought about teaching? Your mom did that, or any other roles that have kind of drawn you to consider them as careers?
Yeah, no, I definitely thought about teaching. I thought, and it still comes down to I still struggled with the like, well, what would you teach? And this like a little bit of perfectionism, like, well, you have to know exactly what you're doing in order to do it, rather than just kind of like honing in on, well, what are the things that I'm proud of myself knowing, and how can I share that information with others? But I definitely I considered teaching. Yeah, I don't think it'd be traditional like elementary school or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. How would your friends describe you, friends or family, if they were on this show and we were asking them to talk about you a little bit?
Hopefully they would describe me as helpful as well. Helpful, very fun and excited. I think that I probably go out and am more social of most of the friends that I have. I'm the one that's always like, what's everybody doing? Anybody free? Anybody wants to hang out? That's like most of my free time. I am trying to, see someone and catch up with someone. And there's always something in Nashville. There's always something to do. So I'd probably like, hopefully the fun one and not too much of like the kooky, crazy one.
And are you typically wanting to go out to hang out with people, or invite them over, or be at somebody's house to hang out?
Either one. Usually I would say we end up out more often. I definitely am not the host. I'll mosey over to someone else's house though. Yeah.
Are there like some favorite hobbies of yours? Maybe this overlaps with what you like to do with friends, but just for fun.
Yeah. I still play with plants. I still have a bunch of house plants that I propagate and like to give away to people, and even just like kind of am hoarding myself. I really just like to be with people. I like to be out in the world. I like to travel. That was one thing that was really difficult in my marriage was I was really stuck at home for a lot of reasons. And my life was very small, and, in an entirely different way now. My life is so big. I went to more states in the last like year than I have been in my whole life. And, I'm really like, I do get kind of like taken away by the, like how beautiful other places can be.
Can you describe your ex-husband a little bit, just personality-wise, and maybe what that relationship was like, with whatever detail is comfortable to you?
Yeah, yeah. No, when we met, he was like the funniest person ever. He was just as like fun and quirky and like outgoing, and we laughed nonstop. We, he was a really amazing guy, very religious guy again, and we were friends when I was still drinking, and when I got sober, he's like, "You should come to church with me." And I got into his church with him, and I really fell in love. He was a mastermind. He could paint like Thomas Kincaid. He had such phenomenal artistic abilities. Really good with like photography and Photoshop and Lightroom, and just like he lit up every room that he went in. And I knew that he had OCD and like a handful of other kind of mental illnesses and things. And it was during COVID, he really kind of like lost his mind a little bit. And he like there was a point, for example, and we like where we didn't talk for like 4 or 5 weeks straight because he was like scared of the sound of his own voice. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. Like there were a lot of, he didn't leave the house for 3 years. And, or if it was to like just go on a drive or, just go up to get, take out dinner and then come home. And it was really tough. And like, I was still practicing the religion with him at the time for a few years. And I prayed and hoped and all these things. And then stuff with church got weird and stuff that I would hear from the pastor got weird. And it just made me kind of rethink my spirituality entirely. And I started walking a different path, and that wasn't okay. And anything, I wasn't allowed to question anything. I wasn't allowed to dig deeper into any other ideologies. And it was just very much like it was considered wrong or, not good to do. I couldn't talk about it. I had this like my own personal little secret life for a little while. And then just one thing after another, I was just like, I think I want a divorce. And I learned you don't tell them you're thinking about it. You just have to be like, we're doing this. Because it was so odd, right? When I mentioned I think I want a divorce, it was like a switch flipped. And suddenly it was like everything that he couldn't do for the 3 years prior, he could do all of a sudden. And I was like, this is kind of red flaggy. I don't know. I was like, where has this been? And why is this what it took to get this out of you? And I didn't trust it. And it got just more and more like emotionally manipulative, especially like once we had separated before things were finalized, and he was getting angrier and angrier. And I had to like no call, no show at work one day. And that was kind of because he wouldn't sign papers. And I was like, because I'm still showing up to work every day. And I just have to kind of like fully remove myself from all of it. But yeah, it was like he wasn't at all the person I married. It was a 180-degree switch.
Mm. And how long ago was that?
We divorced. It was finalized 2 years ago. We separated about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the last 2 years, has it been sort of a period of transition for you, or how would you describe maybe the last year or two?
Yeah, the last 2.5 years have been crazy. Like I had broken my sobriety right before we had separated, and I told him that, and that also was like a big like problem. But I'm not who I was when I got sober. I was sober for I was sober for 7.5 years, almost 8 years. So I just knew I wasn't the same kid that was out there getting DUIs. And I just had this idea of I want my life to be bigger in all of these ways. And how can I do that as a responsible adult, not as this like wild, crazy teenager. And, so yeah, life has changed in so many ways. I used to live like maybe 45 minutes outside of Nashville, and kind of not a small town, it was a big town, but I moved out to the city. The week that we separated, I reconnected with one of my old best friends from high school, and she had moved away but moved back, and she was going through a breakup. So we connected, and she took me out and introduced me to so many people. And now it's like I went from having no friends. I would get not in trouble, but he would get mad at me if I tried to hang out with a girlfriend because I couldn't be home to comfort him in his like bad night or whatever. And I went from having no friends to just like, it's everyone I look around, I'm like, I run into a friend everywhere. And it was in the long run, absolutely the right move for my life. Yeah.
I'm thinking about, like, I don't know if any of our listeners know anyone or is in a situation, but do you have any advice for someone who might be in a situation like that where they're feeling so controlled or, like they're confined, and you made a big step or a big change in your life, and that probably took a lot of courage. Was there anything in particular that helped you to do that?
Yeah, I finally just like listened to my gut, I think. And it was kind of the worry of like, oh, well, what will I do? And ever since then, that was like one of the hardest decisions to make in my life. I started over with nothing. I had no college degree. I had no work experience besides the own business that I owned. And I was like, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? And it's like, if you trust and you listen to that like instinct that says like, you have to, I could be dead if I hadn't done that. Like, it was the instinct that says like, you have to do this. This is no longer aligned with your life. You have to get out of here. Like, you just do it. And God or life or the universe or whatever will provide in the way that you need in the long run. At least for me, everything has happened exactly how it's supposed to, from the bad to the good, all of it. And I think that now I really do handle stress well, and I handle hard, like shocking situations well, where I'm not really ever like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? I don't know what to do here. I'm stuck. I'm very even keeled, and I'm like, no, it's just, maybe it sucks for a little while and then it'll be okay. And then maybe, it's something else. One of the only things we're guaranteed in life is pain and suffering. We can't run from it. We can't avoid it. So when we're faced with a difficult decision like that, better to rip the Band-Aid off than to pick at it and just hope that it comes off itself. Yeah.
And I've just another couple of questions, then I'm going to hand it over to Sarah, who's going to follow up with more specific stuff that she's looking at over there. And now I'm blanking on what I was going to ask. Oh boy, I had a really good question that I was about to ask. Yeah, right now we're living through a time where I think a lot of people are separated, and you see issues of social isolation. And you're someone who's getting out there, making tons of friends, seeing friends, making like the initiator of plans, the friend in the group who says, let's do something. How do you think we can see more of that in the world? Because I do feel like that's something that's lacking.
I don't know. Everyone's different. And I think that some people are okay with like their solitude, like, and to a degree, like I kind of don't like being alone now. And that's kind of almost my issue. I think most people need that balance. We need our circle to the size that is comfortable and takes care of us and that we feel fulfilled with. But at the same time, like, I don't find anything wrong with, going through seasons of kind of being on your own and learning more about yourself and looking inward and not putting so much energy outward too. But if someone is wanting that and they're struggling to do it, it's maybe dropping like any kind of embarrassment or shame and honing in on confidence too. And like, what's the worst someone's going to say to you? No, I don't like you. I don't want to be your friend. Like, I talk to every person that I get in the elevator with in my building. I have something to say to them, or I compliment them or talk to their dog or whatever. Like, there's always something that can be said to another person, and you never know where that relationship's going to go. It could be someone that's literally just in passing, or it could be someone that you end up going to football games with or going on hikes with or whatever. you never know, and it's too easy to do to not take the chance.
I love it. Sarah, how's that sounding to you over there? She's
Good.
connecting
Yeah.
some dots, I can see.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm just taking it all in. You've had a really interesting life. The farm thing is like really interesting. And but yeah, I have some more questions for you. Okay, so all right. Some of them are kind of like fun and some of them are a little bit more deep. But so do you ever dress up for Halloween? And if so, can you tell us what?
So, yeah, this year for Halloween, we were on a road trip. We were coming home from a road trip, and my boyfriend and I like didn't have any time to like get something ready. So we stopped at Walmart and bought bed sheets and cut eyes at them. And it was so just like we didn't have any time. We were just ghosts, but it was really funny at the same time because it's so easy and like we were tripping over everything. We couldn't see where we were walking. Like it ended up kind of being a joke, like how silly it was and how like stupid it was. Um, the year before, my friend picked out our costumes, and we were this meme where it's two little white dogs with crust in their eyes. And it's a meme that goes, "Why you really think God told Noah to put two little white dogs with crust in their eyes on the ark?" And we just like died laughing at the thought of that. So that was like our funny Halloween costume. And we had two parties that year. The second one, we were mean girls. I wore like the Jingle Bell Rock little like dance costume, and she wore a velour sweatsuit with a little recording camera, like the movie.
That's great. I love it.
Thanks.
What is the best gift you have either given or received?
Mm. Oh, but there's so many different ways to think about that. I've received really special gifts, and I don't know if this means like being handed a present for my birthday or Christmas or something like that. Or just opportunities. Like, I can look back at like the journals that my mom left me, or my grandmother's jewelry is like very special to me, but those aren't kind of inheritances. My mom also, when she passed, she left me, it was a really small trust at the time, but it was so long ago that I still don't even have access to it fully, but it's been invested and really turned into like, I am very financially stable because of it. I don't really have to have my own savings at all. And if I'm ever in a pinch, I know that I have that cushion to fall back on, which I know a lot of people my age don't have even close to, I don't even, there's probably people who work for 60 years that may not have what I have set aside. And that I know is like, it's something that no one could ever even come close to that gift, just the security that it gives.
Wow. Okay. So I just want to make sure I understood that right. So you said you've received a trust from your mother, and that's helping like it helps you financially.
Yeah, massively. My mother and really like both of my grandparents who passed, I got, instead of my mom, I have two uncles. And so it would have been split up a third between my mom and my two uncles, but I got a third of it in place of my mom. So, I do have quite a bit, like from all of that combined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, great. All right. So when it comes to emotions, how do you handle big feelings? Do you tend to wear them on your sleeve, or or not?
Have I been drinking? No, I definitely like, I probably stuff a lot more down than I show. I either come off as like even keeled. I'm even maybe a little cold when it comes to other people's emotions. Not that I don't listen or care, but I can be a little harsh with it. And with my own, I think that I definitely don't show. I don't cry in front of people. That doesn't happen. I'll cry when I get home or in the car. But yeah, just in the last few years too, I think since my divorce, I've learned how to be angry about things. Before it was just like people could walk all over me for anything and I wouldn't get angry. And I've allowed anger to exist in my life in the last couple of years. And like I said, there has been times where I've had a couple of drinks and that's shown, and those are lessons for me to look back on and go, maybe we have to feel our feelings a little bit more.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. How about your health? Have you had any health issues that you're willing to share with us? And it could be even just minor stuff like, you know, like you had a rash on your hand or, anything, or all the way to like car accidents and things.
Yeah. Well, I guess my first like health incident was I had a few skin cancers when I was a kid that just like kept coming back and kept coming back. And I just always remember I've had to have them removed since I was like 2 or 3 years old. I have a slip disc in my lower back, scoliosis. My spine looks like a question mark. I have a scar from a dog bite on my face, and I was in a really major car accident in my late teens or early 20s that I almost lost my eye. I've broken my nose a lot. I've had a lot of face impact. The airbag like ripped my eyelid off, and I had to have it
Whoa.
re-sewn. Yeah, it was. But the whole ambulance ride to the hospital, I was like preparing my speech for when I was 20. I lost my eye in a car wreck, and I was fine, thankfully, and not really like I don't get sick that often. I got strep throat a lot in middle school and high school, but I don't get sick too often now.
Okay, great. I mean, not great, but thank you
Yeah,
for providing all that.
yeah.
How about sleep? Do you sleep well or?
I haven't probably been getting proper sleep the last maybe like 6 months to a year. I haven't. I've been out a lot. I've been hanging out a lot. I had a little bit of a fun employment spell this past year, and I was partying it up. And I can tell the sleep debt is there. But typically, like when I'm at my peak of taking care of myself, I definitely sleep really good, really deep, like a rock. A tornado could go through the building, and I would sleep through it.
Do you ever get headaches or anything like that? No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Um, anything, do you ever get like a lot of scratches on your hands or anything like that?
Yeah, I guess scratches. I bruise very easily on my legs.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I guess you could say I do get probably a lot of scratches on my hands. That's something funny. I also have a tattoo on my hand with some of my placements on it. So I have band-aids on it right now.
Oh, good.
But
Thank
I
you.
was like, just in case I'm talking with my hands and it shows, I had to cover it up.
That was smart.
But I got a scratch on my hand last week when I had it touched up. Absolutely. And it still kind of burns.
Okay. Um, all right, let's see what else. What kind of TV or movies do you like, especially humor wise?
Okay, I don't really watch that much like reality. I guess reality TV would be the only kind of TV that I would be interested in, but I don't watch too much TV, and I really don't have the patience for a movie. I get too bored too quick. It's got to be like a really good movie.
Is there an example of a really good movie that's gotten you?
Honestly, I probably couldn't even pull one up. The last thing I got really into was I rewatched Stranger Things with my boyfriend because he had never watched it. And we were just like, oh, we forgot how great it was. And then once again, I haven't watched the last half of the season that just came out because I was like, I don't have to, I'm over it. I saw enough online about it. I get it, what happened. Like, I don't need to see it. I'm the one while he's watching his shows or movies, I'm like scrolling Reddit.
Are there certain Reddit communities that draw your attention more than others, or what's some interest there? What are you?
There's, I mean, I'm very into astrology. I did a couple courses about astrology, so I'm always like kind of peeking around in that community. I I don't know. I get into a lot of them. I guess there's a lot of interesting stuff. I try to stay away from like the politics and the doom and gloom and the anything that's going to give me like anxiety. sometimes I look at stuff around like the video game that I like to play, and yeah, maybe like senior cats. I don't know. I'm in like 600 Reddit pages.
Um, let's see. Do you like to take selfies?
Um, I mean, when I look good.
Okay, but I was just trying to figure out where you fall because some
I don't
people.
have like if you were like show me the last selfie you took, it would be I took a selfie with a cat today. Before that it would be like a few weeks ago of just like me myself like just looking smiling in the camera. I don't do a lot of selfies. I do more
Okay.
pictures with people. And I definitely would never be the person that like goes up and says like, "Hey, could you take a picture of me? Just me."
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, and I think you may have answered this, but I just maybe need a refresher. Um, so what would you like your dream job be? Because so you said you're like a personal assistant right now.
Yeah.
Is it okay? And that's going good so far.
Yeah, I just started it a couple of months ago, and I when I left the farm, I kind of had I was like doing some serving jobs, like nothing serious. And my uncle is an architect, and he was in town. He lives in New York City, but he was in town in Nashville one day, and he was like, "Do you want to get dinner with me? I've got some friends coming." And he introduced me to his personal assistant from 20 years ago. And he didn't know she was looking for a new assistant herself. She has her own like interior design business. And I was looking for a job, and I was like, well, I've ran a business before. I think I can like probably help you with yours. And I was with her for about a year, and it was great experience. I was like, interior design's not for me. She was moving me up more to like interior design stuff than personal assisting stuff. And I was like, this isn't my, like, I don't have a passion for this. And now I work for like an influencer, content creator. And I think that like dream job would be able to do something like that myself and just let my natural life be my source of income in a way, just because people find me interesting enough or entertaining enough or whatever to be able to watch. But I'm also very happy with the place. I've never really just had like a dream job for my whole life. I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer when I was in like middle school and high school a little bit. I thought that I was going to move to New York. I just loved New York City. I loved the energy of it. But like it's not like fashion is my passion really. I can find fashion interesting, but it's not like it's my love. Um, I've never had a dream like that in the long run. I've never people dream to be like a mother too. They're like, oh, I really want kids. I really want like what my life to look like this. And I'm kind of just like along for the ride. And if it happens,
Is
it happens.
so you're not totally in, okay, so you're kind of like what's the word I was looking for? You're fine with kids or not. Like you're just kind of seeing what happens.
I'm probably even more leaning towards like kids would hinder me right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think I'm good. Scott, did you have
I'm
any other?
good.
Okay.
It's always interesting to see what direction Sarah's pulled based on the astrology. So what we're going to do is put you back in the waiting room for just a couple minutes, and we're going to talk about kind of where we're leaning, and we're going to see if we're both leaning in the same direction. Then we'll pull you back into the show and find out if we're right or if we're wrong. And yeah, sound good?
Cool.
All right, we'll see you back here in just a bit. All right, Sarah, it's that magical time.
Yeah.
Are you leaning in one direction or the other?
Yeah, I think so. And I feel like it's not necessarily the sun sign that was helping me with this. I feel like it was more like the moon sign or maybe the sun's placement that was, and maybe a couple of other things that were kind of like drawing me in one direction.
All right. Well,
how about you?
You know what? For me, it's always a crapshoot.
No, that's not really true because you did start thinking about things that they would say, and
Yeah, this one was tough. Because one of them was all one sign.
yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. But she wasn't giving me strong Capricorn or strong Cancer vibes.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's a little harder for Mr. Sun Sign Astrologer over here. So I still made my decision.
Okay.
I'll stand by it. We'll just see what happens.
Alrighty.
So we go 1, 2, 3, and then say it, and then also hold it up.
Yes.
All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Cancer.
Capricorn.
All right.
Oh, shoot. So what made you choose that?
You know what? Less to factor in. I don't know.
Okay.
There's yeah. I don't know. We'll figure it out in the debrief.
So was it a coin flip for you?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could make a case, but for, after the fact, I feel like we could make a case for either one. But who knows?
Okay. Well,
this is good, though.
you were right last time and I was wrong, and I bet on a Capricorn, so we'll see.
Oh boy, I wonder if a Capricorn led you in the wrong direction again.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or if this is your redeeming Capricorn.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, is this my goat?
She likes to help others. She wasn't the let me do it myself. So that's where I think a Capricorn would run into an issue. But you were looking at other places than the sun sign, you said.
Yeah. I was having a harder time getting some of those like sun sign things coming through. So for me, it was more about the sun's house and the moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Scorpio moon.
Yeah.
You think that might have been some of that rebelliousness that she was going through in adolescence?
Well, just when she was talking about her emotions, she said she doesn't cry in front of other people. She stuffs them down. She's learning to get in touch with her anger. These are all things that Scorpio moons kind of deal with. Speaking from experience. Whereas like a Cancer moon and a Cancer moon and a moon on the ascendant, and she's got both, tend to wear their emotions on their sleeves and be very sensitive and cry a lot. Some of the health things she mentioned too related to Capricorn. So that's why I'm putting my chips on that one.
All right. Well, everybody at home, where are your chips? You can comment on the video right now if you're on YouTube, or just make your guesses. Make your guesses known, and then we will find out who's right after this. Hey, listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology. We're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining AstroDetectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, AstroDetectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together, like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late-night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast-track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm, fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/astrodetectives and join the investigation today. Welcome back, everybody. We are joined once again by Carter, and as our listeners know, Sarah and I are on different pages this time, which is always exciting. Somebody's going home with a W, and the other with another loss. Let's see. We got all of our questions in. Carter, you know your sun sign, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
This time we were choosing between a Capricorn and a Cancer. Hopefully one of those is your sun sign.
One of them is.
Oh, good. Only once before has that question meant that we needed to reschedule the episode and do some work. Okay, this is the time where we determine. I'll be asking based on my choice, and obviously if I'm wrong, Sarah is right, and you will see a huge celebration over in her Zoom window. Carter, are you a Cancer?
I am not a Cancer.
Oh, finally. Sarah, the Capricorn led Sarah in the wrong way last week. And so she's happy that the Capricorn helped her out this week. Well,
yeah.
There's a lot of, I'm sure, interesting things that you've found in your chart that you relate to. And that's why we do this post show where we can really like dive in and see what you see in your chart, what Sarah saw in your chart that led her in the right direction. But first, can we just ask you, is there any place you want to send our listeners, any advice that you would like to give, or if you want to plug anything, where can they find you, that sort of thing?
I mean, I don't have too many plugs, but I'm Carter Marie pretty much everywhere online, and maybe one day you'll see me living in Costa Rica, eating a ton of fruit and doing beach babe content. I don't know, I'm online. I want to be friends with everybody.
Where in Costa Rica? I'm literally just got back after 2 weeks in Costa Rica, and that's where I'm wearing my Santa Cruz shirt, even though I don't. Yeah.
I don't know. My boyfriend and I just had a phone call yesterday with a company that's like going to maybe help us get our visas over there, because I qualify, and he works remotely. I think it would be really cool. So we haven't looked too far into it, but it's definitely on the radar.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fun place. So everybody join us on the debrief. Let me close out this episode. That's it, everyone. Let us know what you thought by commenting on whatever platform you follow us on. Links to our accounts are in the show notes. As always, thanks to Mike, our IT guy, and his random chartifier thingy. Even if it gave us the same rising signs this week, it's still a great chartifier. If you like the show and want to support it, you can visit patreon.com/AstroDetectives, where this conversation continues on the free Patreon-only debrief. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube so you don't miss the next episode. Rate and review and tell your friends. And until next time, this case is closed.